Today we have the 2025 season preview for the Western Bulldogs coming your way. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome on in, everybody, to the All Aussie Rules YouTube channel. We've got another season preview for the 2025 AFL season coming your way. Today's episode is all about the Western Bulldogs. It is the final team. The other 17 are already on the channel. This is number 18. And the final one, it's the Doggies. We've done them in alphabetical order, so go back, check all of them out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit the like if you enjoy it, and jump in the comments below. And let me know where you see the Bulldogs finishing season 2025. We'll get into our predictions shortly, but we're going to start with having a look back at their recent seasons, how they're travelling, what we can make of that, I guess. So starting off 2024, they finished 6th on the ladder in the home and away season. 14 wins, 9 losses. Made it, obviously, to the finals, elimination final against the Hawks, and I won't say they got thrashed, but they were never really in that one. Comfortably enough, lost it. So that's where they finished 2024. It was an up and down season. Parts of it looked really good, especially, I won't say early season, middle season. They had some really high points. They had some low points mid-late season, and then they finished pretty strong until they got to the finals, where they fell apart. Their best, as we've probably said the last 3 or 4 years now, their best is as good as anyone in the competition. Unfortunately, we don't see their best all that often, or certainly often enough for them to be super damaging. But if they ever get into finals and with confidence, like they did in 2016, they're really hard to beat. So if they can get that right run, who knows? Looking at the previous 5 years, it's been a pretty consistently similar sort of spot. So 2020, 7th on the ladder, 10 wins, 7 losses, lost an elimination final. 2021, they finished 5th on the ladder with 15 and 7, but won the elimination final this time and went all the way through to the grand final, where they played Melbourne over in WA and lost the grand final after being well and truly in the game. I think they were leading early in the third quarter, but then they got absolutely pumped when, in that last quarter and a half. 2022, they finished 8th on the ladder, 12 and 10 record, lost an elimination final. 2023, they finished 9th on the ladder, 12 wins, 11 losses. So that's the only time in this 5-year stretch that they haven't played finals football. And then 2024, as we said, finished 6th on the ladder, elimination final loss. Pretty self-explanatory, some things there. Like, they've played finals 4 out of the 5 years, but all 4 of those they've been in an elimination final. 3 of those they lost. The one time they got through that elimination final, they went all the way to the grand final. Kind of just emphasises our point, I think, of them being an inconsistent team. They've shown a lot of signs of being really, really good in that time. And then maybe just not executing. Maybe, who knows what the reason is. But, just the most inconsistent team in the competition, according to me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that believes that. If we jump into now their depth chart, so this is every player on their 2025 list. This was before SSP. I don't know if they got anyone in that period or not, but this was before then anyway. So just a little explanation on the colours and whatnot. Blue are elite players, so I ranked every player in the competition last year and then put them into positions and obviously ranked them through that. If you're in the top 10% of a position, you are blue, which is elite. Top 50% is green, which is above average. Yellow is average, which is everyone in the bottom 50%. Red are rookies, so players that have not played AFL football before. And orange, which there's only the one on Bulldogs list, is people that have played AFL football before but did not play a game last season. So we'll start in the key defence line. Good way to start at the back. They've got pretty solid names here, in all honesty. Liam Jones had a good year last year. Rory Lobb swung back from being a forward last year and played it pretty well, in all honesty. So they were 19th and 26th, respectively. Pretty solid numbers from both of them. They both seem to play that position quite well. Liam Jones could, at times, potentially looked better than a 19th ranked. There were other times where maybe he didn't know. Baku Kamas, he looks like he could be a really good talent. He'll get plenty of games this year. James O'Donnell is probably their fourth in line as a key defender, so I don't think he'll be starting every week. He'll probably play games, though, depending on fitness and whatnot of the other key defenders there. Next up, we'll move to general defenders. Move our way forward. Bailey Dale, he had an outstanding season last year. He gets plenty of the ball. He uses it pretty well most of the time. I had him ranked as the 12th best general defender, which puts him in that elite range. A great season. Lachlan Bramble and Joel Fraser, both young players that look really good, especially Joel Fraser. I think he's going to have an outstanding season this year. So, general defenders wise, they've got 3 there. You probably want another one to be in that above average range in a perfect world. So Johannesson certainly has shown previously that he is capable of being in that range. Taylor Duray, similar. Caulfield, probably just a fringe backup player at the moment. And Luke Cleary, same. Jumping into the key forwards for the Bulldogs. And this is probably their most... I won't say their best position, because midfield is. But they have a lot of talent here as well. Especially the Sam Darcy one. He was ranked 9 as a key forward last year. He does pinch hit in the ruck because he is very tall. But his ability to use his height is what sets him apart on most people. He is really tall. You kick it up above him and he clunks them. He has really good hands. He kicks goals. He had a great season. If he improves again on that, 2025 could be a really good season for Sam Darcy. Jamari Ugle-Hagan is a very talented footballer. There's no doubt about it. He's shown that many times over the previous, however many years that he's been in the competition. There are concerns about whatever else is happening in his life and in that football club, but does he get over them and play football? If he's playing, he's a really good player. He's certainly one of the best key forwards that the Bulldogs have, and makes them a better team. So in a perfect world, he is certainly going to be playing. At the moment, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Aaron Norton, a really good key forward as well. So they've got 3 there that are certainly capable. The fact that one might not be playing is a concern, but at the same time, maybe not. They have plenty of general forwards that can take up a role in that forward line. And, Darcy and Norton should be able to kick 40-plus goals each, really, based on what we've seen previously. General forwards, a bit of depth here. They've got a lot of players. Starting at the top, Matthew Kennedy coming across from Carlton. He'll really strengthen this half-forward flank midfield role for the Bulldogs. Obviously, they have a bit of depth in their midfield, which we'll get to shortly, but they do have quite a lot of injuries early season. So there is the potential that he will get a bit of midfield time or a bit extra midfield time early season. And then maybe later, once some of these big midfielders come back, he might go more to that half-forward flank, rotating through the midfield role. Riley West had a great season last year. He had top 40 player as a general forward from him last year, was really good. Cody Waitman, perhaps not at his best last year, has some improvement, but he will be missing roughly half the season this year through injury, so he's going to struggle to replicate that number this year. But if he can come in the second half of the year and kick 20 odd goals and help the Bulldogs, then you never know. Riley Garcia, another one that's solid numbers, showed some good potential. Lachlan McNeil as well. James Harms had his first year last year at the Doggies after playing it with the Demons before that. Showed some good signs, had a couple good games certainly in the mid-season, like rounds 9 and 10. I think he played really well. Didn't have the consistency throughout the year. He's another one that looks like maybe potentially will get a bit of midfield time over the early season with the injuries to some of the midfielders through pre-season. He has played a bit of midfield time, so he could be one that does early season get quite a bit more touches than he's usually going to get. Lathan Tham, Demir, Arthur Jones, Anthony Scott, all role players. Then on that rookie list, first year player list, Sam Davidson's the big one here. He was pick 51, he's a mature age draft pick, and he's ready to go. There's no doubt about it. He's played both pre-season games, looked really good, especially the one against Hawthorn. I think he ended with mid-20 touches, maybe even high 20 touches. Kicked a goal, really, really going to be useful in this team that's missing Bontempelli early season, Treloar early season, and at the moment we don't know if Ed Richards will be up for round 1 or not, but Sam Davidson certainly will be playing early season, and from what we've seen, he's certainly ready to go, so that's a big one there. Moving into the midfield line, we start with Bontempelli. He was my number 1 player last year. No questions about it in my eyes. He was clearly the best player in the competition last year. Going into the year, he was my number 1 and he lived up to it. Did injure himself in the preseason game against Hawthorn. He's out for 6 weeks apparently, so expect to see him back for round 6, potentially round 5 or 6. So not a great start to his season this year. Certainly hurts his chances at like a Brownlow and MVPs and stuff like that, but he's an incredible player, and once he does come back, he's potentially going to play a bit more forward time this year than he has previously. I mean, he does always kind of play a little bit of forward time, but maybe a little bit extra this year. Adam Treloar, I think career best year last year. He was outstanding. Averaged 30-odd touches a game. His disposal was probably better overall than it typically has been as well. Just a great season from him, no doubt about it. Once again, though, he's missing the start of the year. Tom Liberatore always has the issue with concussions and injuries and stuff. He misses a lot of games through that, but from what we've seen from him pre-season, he had an outstanding game against Hawthorn. At his best, he's definitely above the 27th best midfielder. He arguably is a top 10 midfielder at his best. So if he can get a full season, he's certainly going to be important in the first 3 or 4 rounds for this Bulldogs team to get off to a good start. He's going to have to be playing some good football, and there's no reason to believe that he won't, because he was really good in that pre-season game against Hawthorn. Ed Richards, he took a massive step last year. So he moved from early season being that half-back flanker to taking up a role in that midfield, which was due a lot to the fact that Liberatore was getting injured. And he did everything he needed to. In all honesty, he's really good in the contest. He's good at clearances. If he's improved again on that, which he quite easily could have, he could be in for another big season this year. He's undergoing a test for round 1, but I would imagine we will see him playing in that one. Bailey Williams, he's the next lot of midfielder in this team. He's not as good as those 4 above him, and potentially even Sanders below him, but he's someone that will get games, spend some time on the wing, spend some time everywhere, all over the field, and you kind of know what you're going to get from him. Riley Sanders is an interesting one, because with the injuries, you would expect that he will get a lot of inside mid-time early season. He's highly talked about hyped up going into last season. There was potentially issues with old Bevo, but in the end, that is all irrelevant now. It's all about this season. He showed that he has some class and talent. Will he be able to put it on the park this year? We all hope so. He was quietish in the game against Hawthorn the other day, which was a slight concern. That's the one that he could have really set himself as that starting midfield spot with Libba and Ed Richards for round 1, but I still think he gets it. So we'll see how that works out for him, but it's likely that him, Ed Richards and Libba will be the 3 in there, which isn't the perfect combination if we're thinking about it, because they're all the contest who's going to be the ball user. Maybe they will rotate the 3 through with somebody else, whether that's a Bailey Williams or Sam Davidson or someone else. Caleb Porter, 131. I don't know if he's an AFL player, to be honest. I think VFL's his level, but I could be wrong. Harvey Gallagher, I think slightly better than 136, but certainly we'll see games this year, as will Oscar Baker. Then they've got a couple of players there that haven't played in Hines and Luke Kennedy. Jumping into the ruck line, Tim English was ranked 8th last year. He is capable of being elite if you go back a couple of years. He was slightly down last year, but potentially due to the new ruck rules, maybe not, who knows, but ranked 8th. The issue is they don't have much depth. They have brought in Ryan Gardner as that backup, so he will play if English goes down, but otherwise it's pretty much just going to be Tim English every game all season long. Jumping now into the best 22 as a judge. I've gone the wrong way, sorry. Best 22 as a judge by me. So this would be without injuries. I found this one pretty hard. To be honest, I found most teams pretty hard, but this one was quite difficult. So anyway, we'll have a look at it, and we'll start in the back line. Baku Camus, Rory Lobb, Lachlan Bramble, Bailey Dale, Liam Jones, Jason Johannesson. In all honesty, Johannesson might not be in there anymore. Joel Frazier might be the better option as the starting one, and even Jure pushing for selection ahead of Johannesson. I think those two are pretty close to each other. I could be wrong, but that's how I have it. Midfield, Bailey Williams on one wing, Adam Treloar in the centre. I've put Riley Sanders on the other wing. He's not a wingman, but I couldn't find another spot for him, and he's got to be in their best 22 this year. And having watched the pre-season, Sam Davidson could well be on that other wing as their best 22 wingman this year, which would just have to push maybe a Riley Garcia out of the bench and Sanders to the bench, possibly. Half-forward flank, Matthew Kennedy. I think he'll see some midfield time, but playing that high half-forward role will be probably his go this year. Sam Darcy, Riley West on the other half-forward flank. In an ideal world, Cody Waitman, Aaron Norton, and Jamari Ugle-Hagan. However, obviously Waitman's injured, and we don't really know what's going on with Jamari Ugle-Hagan just yet. So we'll see how that plays out. Tim English as a ruckman, no surprise there. Marcus Bontempelli, no surprise there. Tom Liberatore, once again, no surprise there. Interchange I've gone Ed Richards, Joel Frazier, Riley Garcia, and James Harms. I think all of them certainly capable. Frazier, as I said, potentially should probably be starting on the field. I see him as having a great season this year. And then moving to the emergencies, I've gone James O'Donnell, Tyler Jure. I don't know why I struggled with that name so much. Lachlan McNeil, Ryan Gardner, Harvey Gallagher, and as I mentioned, Sam Davidson could well be in that best 22 before long from what we've seen so far from him. A quick look at their schedule for the upcoming year. First game will be in round 1 against North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. Not the toughest start to the season, but one where they will want to be getting off to a good start because it's only going to get harder, especially with their injuries early season. It's going to be important to get going. Getting a few wins early. So, yeah, North Melbourne at Marvel. Their buys are going to be in opening round and round 12 is their second buy. Gather round is in round 5. They'll be playing Brisbane at Norwood Oval. So that will be an interesting game. Two teams that played finals last year and, in fact, finished 5th and 6th on the ladder in the home and away season. One went on to the premiership and the other one got bundled out in an elimination final. So that's going to be a big game at Norwood Oval. Teams that they played twice, they've got Brisbane twice, Essendon, Fremantle, GWS, North Melbourne and St Kilda all twice. Obviously, reigning premier in Brisbane is a tough one to start with. GWS played deep into the finals last year, so not an easy one again. But then the rest of it's not simple, but teams that didn't play finals. Essendon missed finals. Fremantle finished 10th on the ladder as well, so they missed finals. St Kilda finished the season quite strong, but they didn't play finals, and North Melbourne finished 17th on the ladder, so were one of the lower ranked teams. So overall, for a team that finished on the ladder in the home and away season 6th, it's certainly not the hardest schedule, only playing two teams that played finals last year twice. Injuries is going to be an interesting concern for them early season, whether they can make use of that and get a few wins to the point where once their players come back they can get on a roll. We'll see. Where do I have the Doggies this year? In all honesty, I'm a little bit concerned for them at the moment. I think they might be a team that potentially drops out of the 8. I'm still fully on the idea that they are one of the best teams in the competition when fully fit and going well. But their inconsistency year in, year out just keeps ruining them. So I'm kind of going with the fact that, I think they're going to miss finals. That's my opinion on it, but they certainly might be a team that does really well and doesn't miss finals at all. So, that's everything I have on the Bulldogs. Don't forget to jump in the comments. Let me know where you see the Bulldogs finishing this season. If I've made any glaring omissions in any of my numbers or anything, let me know. Don't forget to go check out all the other videos. All other 17 teams are on the YouTube channel already, so go watch them all. Share them with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Like all the videos. I thank you for tuning in. If you've stuck it out this far, I appreciate you. Season 2025 is just about to kick off this weekend. So make sure you go check them out. Come back and listen to the podcast before the games and then again after. There's 2 every week. Appreciate you for listening. Catch us on the next one.